What's going on, peeps? It's Wrath here, hanging out today, playing some Idle Heroes. Today, doesn't really matter what account we're on, we're just going to be talking about the events pretty much, because that's what we do on New Event Day, talk about the events. It's going to be a boring week. We always know this, and probably next week as well, because it's going to be item exchange week, so there's that. But this week, boop, here's what we got. Now, first thing you're going to notice in the value packages, you can buy a penny. Now, for some people out there, $100 is stupid to spend on a penny. Okay, it's pretty much true. But one of those things, value is relative. If you're a very rich person, this may be worth it to you. If you're not, this is not worth it to you. Of course, if you're not rich, then none of this is really worth it to you. Because it's casino week, and why would you buy casino chips? Nobody. That's why they throw the good heroes in on casino week, because they know it's probably their lowest grossing week, next to item exchange week. Like I said, no one's going to buy wishing chips. The rewards aren't good enough to really justify spending money on them, and generally the hero loot isn't as good either. But there is a penny option. Also, skin shards, if you really need skin shards, you can get those as well. Moving down, the actual event itself. It's no different than ever. It's always the same thing. We've got 8 orbs, 8 super chips for a completion. You know, stock standard business. So it's not bad loot. You should always go for at least one completion in casino event every week. It's really not, or every month. It's not that hard to do. Like, even free-to-play players should be able to knock out a full round every month, no sweat. It's not difficult. Boom. But the reward here is Vesa. Okay, now she's been changed about 47 quadrillion times. It's just the way the devs have done her. She's always a different hero every day. But since she's been changed last, I haven't really used one. I had an E3 a good while back, and she wasn't a bad healer. Essentially, what Vesa does is she kind of bridges the gap between someone like Ormus, who's just, whoops, beep. There we go, Ormus, where you at? There you are, big man, a little beep. Pretty much just a raw healer. That's what Ormus does. He has crazy healing potential. He does really good heals, and instead of doing a lot of damage, he just heals people. That's kind of Ormus's jam. Vesa also heals people, but instead of just healing people, she has quite a bit more damage potential. So she's kind of like a mid-unit between like an Ormus and a damage dealer. So she doesn't just raw heal, she does decent damage as well. She has a decent amount of crit rate, and they added precision to her recently as well. So that's going to boost her damage by a little bit too. But she can be built for crit to hit harder. She can be built for attack to heal harder. It's just kind of the way you want to build her. When she falls below half health, she gains a huge amount of crit damage, so she kind of comes a little bit nukey. However, she's not really top tier, I wouldn't say. You don't see Vesas in PvP pretty much at all, because she's just really not that great. Healing hasn't scaled very well with E5 heroes. Now, Ormus, like I said, he's still pretty decent, but mainly people focus on just nuking people to death, and heroes like Ada, who reduce heals incoming anyway, kind of keep her out of being a good PvP hero. She'll work early game for sure. She'll be able to probably nuke people down pretty early on and kind of nuke on a bit. That's nice. It's nice to be able to just poop on people really fast, and she can do that early on. Later down the road, when you start getting E5 Valks and stuff, I mean, she's probably not going to hang very well. However, in PvE, like I said, that's kind of where she kind of hangs out. Her boss damage is decent for being a healer, but at the same time, she also takes care of your team a little bit. Now, with the new monsters being out, if you have a max monster, in the current state of the game, you really don't need a healer. But when things change, which they definitely will, give me that heart, well, then you're probably going to need a healer again. For right now, though, if you have a max monster, like I can take 5-star heroes into the broken spaces and still live. So it's time for an update there, I guess. Going to be a thing. But that's the Wishing Fountain event out of the way. Shelter Mission. Got a couple decent heroes in here. First up, Ormus. We just talked about Ormus. Pretty good healer all around. He heals well no matter where you put him. PvE, he's going to be a good healer. PvP, he's a good healer. He just doesn't have a lot of damage potential. He's mainly focused on keeping you guys from dying. Plus, also, like, anytime that you get these out, you get 2 pieces of 4-star orange gear, which is great. You can get you can get 2 sets from the shelter mission every single time it comes around. You get 2 full sets for completing it. Boop. And then you get another set during Mysterious Chest Week. If you buy both the super chips and the orb chest, you'll get another set of gear. But, you know, it's the thing. Corpse Demon here is number 2. You really don't see Corpse Demon anywhere anymore, which is kind of sad. Like, there's so many heroes in this game that just don't even get built, never get used. And I think that's mainly development's fault. They have a really hard time understanding that, you know, their current methodology for updating the game is not sustainable, and it's not going to last very long. Keep launching new heroes. Sure, it works for a while, but eventually people just get bored and they quit, which, I mean, if you look at my friends lists on all 3 of my accounts, there's quite a few people haven't been on the game in 10 days, and they're not free to play peeps either. So, I mean, it's kind of showing you the game's not really getting the development cycle down the way it should. I would say, personally, just rant. You might as well just speed up build time so it's faster to build heroes, and then start balancing heroes out so you can actually build more than just 4 heroes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and be competitive. So that'd be a great move for the game. Will it happen? Probably not. But Corpse Demon, what's he do? Mainly, he's like a freeze dude. That's kind of his job. He just freezes the crap out of people. Really tanky, has a huge amount of HP when he's at 10-star plus. So he doesn't work really well in PvP because everything in PvP now does percent-based HP damage, and they just kind of blow through his health anyway really fast. But in certain areas, like in the tower, he has good crowd control, and he's really tanky, and it is kind of handy for your team. And like the Aspen dungeon, again, tanky, heals well, can't handle healers literally at all. But overall, not a terrible hero. Just not top tier at all, so like I said, you just don't see him built anymore. Boop. He's mainly food. For now. Sad face, because he looks really cool. Like, he could be a cool hero, and his skin looks really cool too, but it's like, there's so many heroes that actually look cool that just never get used, because, like, that's just the dev's way of doing things, and I can't change it. Boom, Starlight. A lot of people love Starlight, a lot of people hate Starlight. I sit somewhere in the middle. I don't love her, I don't hate her. She's not a great hero, but she's not a god-awful hero. She used to be freaking terrible. Okay, well, before Starlight got changed, A, she was hideous, and 2, she sucked. Like nobody built Starlight because she was awful. Nowadays, she's slightly better. Her active skill actually hits pretty hard when she's at 10 stars. It's like 1200 damage or something, like 1200% of her attack is damage. That's not bad. It's also not super duper fantastic either, though. I mean, I would say still, even in a great PvE team, she probably still is going to lose to most other heroes that are built for raw damage. But she does have the ability to crowd control people. So early game PvP, not a bad hero. She can kind of nuke on people. She's your first E5 and your teammates die around her. You're also going to get her boosts here. So as people die on the battlefield, doesn't matter if it's your team or the enemy team, she's going to boost her, she's going to heal herself, which is nice, but also boosts her attack and crit damage, which isn't bad, especially when you pair it with a really nasty nuke. So if you have like an E3 Starlight early on in a server and you're facing things like E1 Valks, maybe even E3 Valk, I haven't tested it. But like I said, as your team dies off, she gets a huge amount of attack, huge amount of crit damage. She already has a pretty nice amount of crit on top of that. You're going to get a huge amount of stacks, because everything's going to die pretty much other than your 2 big heroes. That's how Karim used to be able to compete with Valkyries, is every hero would die, Karim would have a huge amount of attack and be able to nuke. Well, Starlight's kind of the same way. If everyone dies, she can nuke really hard. But this is why I don't really like her in PvE. Heroes that rely on your team or enemies dying don't generally hit as hard when you're fighting bosses, because no one's dying. If you're doing it right, your team's not dying. That's what you're kind of going for. But also, you're not obviously killing the bosses in the round, unless you hit the very last attack. So you do kind of lose out on a lot of attack and crit damage potential for Starlight when you fight bosses. One of those things. But there's Starlight, its thing. Then it brings us to old Kazuki. Oh, Kazuki. No one uses you anymore. Okay, get that out of the way. He's just meh. Pretty much, if meh was a hero, this is who it would be. This is meh. He does not do much of anything. He's supposed to be a support unit that doesn't get burned or bled and stuff like that, but in raw truth, you don't need one for any situation in the game. He blows in PvE. When it comes to boss fights, this guy does nothing. His only real strength in PvE is he can handle blood blades incredibly well, because they can't bleed him, so he doesn't get the extra damage boost from them. That's great. Outside of that, he's just kind of garbage. You take him into PvP, and like, I guess if you're trying to run like a flame strike cheese or trying to pop your Valkyrie's dots, he has mild utility early on. But like I said, when you start getting to the actual PvP area, when people are building their E5 Adas, E5 pennies, This guy is a joke. He's not going to do anything for your team other than die. He just doesn't bring a lot to the table, so he's probably one of the most useless elite heroes there is in the game right now. He's not very good. No one builds one. There's a reason why nobody builds one. He's just not fantastic. Moving over, we have the light and the dark area. Now, I normally say do not ever do light and dark unless you absolutely know that you're not going to have a light or dark hero available for the heroic miracle portion of the Prophet Orb events. It's nice to have that because that gives you 10 more orbs, and it's the way you get the elite hero from the event. So if you know already there's no way in crap you're getting your second light or second dark, this is a method you can use to make sure you've got one in your bag. So when Heroic Miracle comes around, you get one from the event, you got one in your bag, boom, you're set to go. It's good news. However, it is expensive. It's not going to cost you 2 dark heroes that are 5-star to get 1 dark hero. It's also going to cost you 2,000 gems as well, which is a pretty hefty investment. So like I said, if you know you need it, maybe. If you don't need it, probably just don't go for it. Now, Daddy Moog. What's Daddy Moog all about? Daddy Moog. I've got an E5. He's not bad. With the recent update, he lands, over 1 billion regularly, which isn't bad damage. I'm pretty good with that in boss fights. He sucks in PvP, at least for me he does, but I suck in PvP regardless, so maybe he's great. I just don't know his secrets. But the good thing about Daddy Moog, his little synergistic business, one, well, you can't really see it on 5-star. Beep. We're going to have to check this sucker out in the old 10-star area, because that's how you know. Boop, Daddy Moog, look how much cooler you are now. Awesome. All right, boop. So, something that Daddy Moog does is he really scales up skill damage. That's kind of his bread and butter. He gets buttloads of it, like absolute humongoloids of skill damage. It's his jam. Okay? He already comes with a native plus 62%. Every time he casts an active skill, he gains 50%. That's not bad, especially if you can constantly chain active skills. Boom. Every time he does a basic attack, he boosts his own attack and speed. Now, it only lasts for 3 rounds, so it's not something that stacks up exponentially, which would be crazy and broken, but it does make him much faster, obviously, and with better attack most of the time. Unless he never does a basic attack, in which case, this means nothing. Boop. Last, whenever an ally releases an active skill, he's going to gain 20% skill damage and 30 energy. Now, this is where it kind of gets real, okay? Daddy Moog does pair well with other Daddy Moogs. He also pairs well with things like Cruz. The reason being, if you can have, if you did somehow, you were a freak beast, and you had 3 10-star Das Moogs, essentially, your Das Moogs would never do a basic attack. They would only ever cast active skills, which is obviously their most damaging ability, but also it's going to constantly boost their skill damage by 50% every single round. So you're going to have a Das Moog who's not only gaining skill damage every time an ally casts his skill, which you're going to have 3 of them casting it every single round, he's going to cast his active skill every single round and constantly have skill damage. So pairing Das Moogs together gets kind of disgusting. The problem is he's a dark hero, so it's kind of hard to build 3 of them. And if you do build 3 of them, you're pretty much sitting 100% in PvE territory because he kind of blows a fat one in PvP. However, if you want a good dark hero for PvE, Das Moog is not a bad option. Especially after the recent updates with the new monsters, he's not nearly as squishy as he used to be. He's able to actually survive getting hit, and with the E5 enable, he's able to heal himself quite a bit with his crits. So, another one of those deals. Not a bad hero for PvE. I haven't seen much good out of him in PvP, though. He just kind of gets pooped on. It's his thing. He still looks cool, though, so that's points for him, right? And the final hero in the Shelter mission, we're just going to look at it over here because we already know what it is. Boop, it's Faithblade. Spoiler alert, oh look, he flies. Faithblade, he flies. Okay, that's perk number 1. Perk number 1 is probably his last perk. Very few people actually build Faithblade as a first light hero or even a second light hero anymore because he's kind of fallen off. He used to be he was the Valkyrie of the old days. Everyone whined and complained about Faithblade, but as E3 came out and he started getting to the point where he couldn't quite nuke as well as he used to because HP outscaled damage, and then E5 hit and then HP really outscaled damage, he wasn't quite as nukey as he once was, and it kind of hurt his, his utility. Is he a bad hero? No. He hits pretty hard, he stuns, and if they have less HP than will they change that? What? No. What? I think they did. He used to be swap between if he had more HP or less HP, he'd either stun or do more damage. Now it seems like It's just a chance to stun if they have less health than he does. Weird. If they don't have less health, whatever. Who cares? Not important. Active skill, hits pretty decently hard in PvP, sucks in PvE. Gonna go ahead and say it. This is not a boss fighter. Don't take him in for bosses. You're just gonna be sad. But he does target lowest HP enemies. That's not a bad deal, especially when you pair it with his other passives. Whereas when he kills somebody, he immediately gains 100 energy. So he goes back to having an active skill as soon as somebody dies, and he gains 30% holy damage for 3 rounds. Holy damage, meh. The energy, nasty. If you can kill somebody quickly with the Faith Blade on your team, he can go off and just train wreck people constantly, because he will kill somebody probably with his active skill. He gets his active skill right back again for the next round. He can chain his active skills in a nasty fashion. He also is a pretty fast dude, and he can't be stunned, which is kind of nice. Plus, he's a high amount of crit, so most of your people build him with crit and crit damage, so he can nuke really hard. But, like I said, with the additions of Adas and Aspens and all the crap that you see nowadays, Faith Blade's not as common. He's not uncommon. I mean, if you have like a full-on GVE server, you're probably still going to see Faith Blades in it because he's still not a terrible light hero, but most everyone still takes Ada as their first light hero and probably their second light hero. Like I said, when you get to the third one, you have Asmo, still a really solid unit. Belrain for PvE support's not bad. Faith Blade just doesn't have that really awesome thing going for him. People are like, I gotta build me a Faith Blade. But there you go. That is the events broken down. Shelter Mission always takes a little bit longer because there's more heroes to go over. The Grey Dwarf's Blessing, to round things off here, I always tell people not to do this. Just don't. It's a waste of gems. There's no reason to make 4-star gear into 5-star gear here because you get plenty of 4-star gear just by playing the game. You get 2 full sets from the Shelter Mission every month, and you get another set from Mysterious Chest. So that's 3 sets of 4-star gear. You can go right over here and you can say, oh, hey, look, 2 million gold. I'll make me a piece. Boom. 2 million gold. I'll make me a piece. Bang. 2 million gold. Let's do it again. Boop. 2 million gold. I'll say it again. And boom. There you go. You've made a 5-star set for 8 million gold. Okay. Now what's it taking the event to do it? 40 million gold. It's 5 times more expensive on your gold. Plus, it takes 1,500 gems. Now, yes, you're only using 1 set to do that, but why? It's not that big a deal. If even every once a month, you can just use up 1 set of 5-star gear, that means you start here. You make your 6-star set, you turn that 6-star set into a 6-star class-specific. In 6 months, you can have a full team of class-specific gears, obviously if you're hoarding back enough gems and gold to do so. You don't need to be wasting extras up here. There's really no good reason for it, and that's why I tell people, don't do this. You don't need to. It's just wasteful. So don't. Yep, there you go. But that's the events kind of covered. I was going to do something, but there's really... Give me that heart. Chaozu. Oh, almost had a Marauder. First Marauder in ages that was not my own. But there we go. That's the events covered. It's going to be a really slow week, so there probably won't be much of this on the channel this week. Like I said, it's boring. Like there's just really not that much to do. I'll try to get something up, like maybe E5 Horus or take Penny up to E3 or something. I don't know. I'll try to get something done just because I know you guys like Idle Heroes a lot. But really, to be honest, I'm getting a little bored of it. I've been playing it for like 2 years now, and the devs are really, really bad about making the game. They don't really keep it entertaining and keep it engaging. They just drop new heroes and everything stays the same. Like the new monsters should have been a big deal, but what are you doing with them? Same crap you've always been. The Aspen Dungeon, the Tower, the Broken Spaces, the Arena. There's just, I don't know, there's not enough new spice, new variety to keep you wanting to play for a bunch of times. Like I said, I'm getting pretty bored of the game, not going to lie about things, so I don't know. It probably won't be on the channel next year. We'll go ahead and go out on a limb and say that. But for this week, for sure, probably not going to be much on it because there's not much to do in general. With that said, though, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget, smash that thumbs up button and show your support, and I will see you guys in the next one.